catch the ball and being able to run on first and second down whenever we need to gain the short yardage, or, being able to compete on special teams more specifically, coming in the door and, giving 120% and competing, ready to take another grown man job.
All right, what is going on, everybody? It's been a minute since I've recorded one of these, but welcome back to another edition of Arrowhead Live Team Talk. As always, I'm going to be your host, Caleb James, today. Man, do I have a great show planned for you guys today. It's Isiah Pacheco season in Kansas City. The hype train is out of control. The Chiefs are getting ready to be playing their first preseason game of the year here very shortly against the Chicago Bears. Before I get going with the video and the content, make sure that you like and subscribe to this page. Make sure you're going and following all the great accounts on Twitter from everyone at Arrowhead Live and everyone that makes that whole thing possible. I always appreciate y'all whenever I get the feedback for these, for everything else. This is going to be a really fun one. And it's not often, every year in training camp, people get excited about certain guys. There's always like camp hype stars, guys who people just really want to make the roster, maybe an unheard of guy, people not really sure who he is, comes in, puts on a big show in camp, has a good job, does a good job in preseason games. Everyone wants him on the roster. The Isiah Pacheco situation that we're in right now is like this times 1,000. It is completely out of hand, and I feel like I may have played some role in it. But as crazy as it sounds with this hype, as we're getting ready to see here on all this film I'm sure you guys are getting ready to watch, is it warranted? I think there is a very strong chance that this hype, we hear a lot about training camp hype. I think there's a chance that this time the hype train could be true, because this guy has traits and skill sets of elite level running backs, and he has looked damn good in camp so far. He looked good in the Chiefs preseason camp, in the mini camp, back in early June. I was fortunate enough to be able to attend that camp. I've brought this up a couple of times. I tweeted about it on a number of occasions. His real life, when you see him in person, Pacheco's acceleration is jaw-dropping. He has a stunning ability to go from 0 to 100 that very few players have. And I think it's very fitting that he's going to be wearing number 10 in Kansas City. Now, he said it's a number that he's worn before in his career, but as we all know here in the kingdom, that number has much more significance, even if it's for more of a sour reason now than it did here, 6 or 7 months ago. This is going to be very interesting. The running back battle in general has been interesting just because I think people were quick to write in Rojo. There are people saying, Clyde's going to get cut, Rojo. Ronald Jones is a massive fumbling problem. Okay, he got benched in Tampa Bay. Very good offensive line last season in Tampa Bay also. They're opening up holes. He's not a perfect player. I think a lot of Chiefs fans just said this guy's explosive. He can make plays. He's not Clyde. It's something that we can do. Now he's taking reps with a third team, and Pacheco's trying to crack the ones, trying to crack the 53. Dave Tobe has already said he's locked in as the kick returner. And I think Pacheco could be a very special kick returner in the league. Not that the Chiefs need to return a bunch of kicks, but just his skill set and ability would allow him to do that. If that's his very, very floor as a player, is high-end kick returner, then that's what he's going to be. He can carve out a nice career doing that in this league if he can, hold on to the ball security. But I think there's more. So let's dive into it. Let's get into the tape here. I've talked enough. I want to get into the tape. Just let me minimize this screen down a little bit. I know y'all don't want to be seeing my face too much on here, but let's get into the tape. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's take a look. So it's a screen pass, number one thing I see. Really good play call from Rutgers here. I actually like this look a lot. They run the screen. It looks like the quarterback gave a little action over, like he's going to come here. You got two guys coming. You got another guy coming right here. But it was well executed. And really look at Pacheco. Look at one. I'm sorry I don't have any coaches film for this one. This just happened to be the first one I ran. But you see Pacheco selling like he's going to block. And he's a good blocker. He is a plus blocker. He's a big back, man. He's 5'11", 215 pounds. He's a big dude. He's solid. He's always been a pretty good third down back. But when you're a third down back and you can block well, sometimes you get rewarded because as you see, you got free runners. You got another guy coming. They got some sort of a game going on in here. Well, they've opened up the slip screen right down the middle. The quarterback puts it on him. Boom, wide open. It's a first down situation. It looks like Indiana's just trying to dial up heat. Not a great play call, but Pacheco makes the catch. And now you can kind of see him start to speed up a little bit. And this is what I like. This is what I like about him because you see he gets airborne. Doesn't do a lot, but what's he trying to do? There's a lot of running backs that in this situation right here, first down, all right, stepping out of the 40. There's guys right here. No one will think any better. He's just say, okay, we'll step out right here. What's Pacheco doing? He gets to the sideline, and instead of just stepping out of bounds, going out, what's he do? Takes two more steps and says, I'm going to try to make something happen. He goes, I got the pursuit on. Number 4 is probably going to be in position to make the play, even if I bust through this. Let me see what I can do. And he jumps and gets airborne. He doesn't get anything out of it, but it's the attempt that I care about. It's the attempt that I think matters because it's the effort is there. You got a guy who knows he's fast enough to score at any given point. He doesn't want to waste a ton of opportunities, just going out there and not being able to try to score. That sounds terrible, but he wants to be able to go out here and try to score on nearly every play because he knows he's fast enough to. And it's just a well-executed screenplay, I got to tell you, though, we got big guys missing blocks in space, you get some of those big guys in space. They don't perform as well. You get some of the Chiefs' big guys in space, it's going to be a little bit more than, just a jump to try to make something happen at the very end. Now let me get into the, some more better film quality. So let's take a look at what we got here. And now, real quick, because it's going to be a pass play, just a little swing pass, nothing special. Look at him turn it up. And he even gets a little stiff arm there also. But let me hold on just a second. Because there's people saying, oh, how is Pacheco a pass catcher? The naysayers. I'm getting lit up by people because in this mini camp session I see back in June, he runs a Texas route, which he's not a route here. It's a route where he'd run here. He'd kind of act like he's going to angle out, and then he'd probably attack the middle linebacker out here. I saw him run this route in this practice period, catch it, and then he's a streak down the sideline. I was like, whoa. We've seen the wheel routes. Not a productive pass catcher in college. You guys got to remember, though, we can't be sitting here putting college stats and stuff and saying this is how these guys are going to perform. Don't scout stats. Okay, scout film. This guy looks very comfortable catching the ball out of the backfield. Why Rutgers didn't throw it to him more, beyond me. I don't get it. He only had something. I'm looking. He only had about 130 receiving yards. That was the most he ever had in a season. That was during 2020. So not the most in the world. And I'm sure in the intro to the video, you guys saw the explosive runs and everything and think that's more of what he does. I think the Chiefs are really going to try to use him as a pass catcher. And if he continues to improve as a blocker and he can become the third down back, that's going to be massive. Because we saw Darrell Williams, an average athlete, a very fine player, but nothing to get excited about, catch the ball for 500 yards, mostly just from taking checkdowns on, third down situations, 3rd and 3, from Mahomes, catch the ball, run 8 yards, needed 3, got 5 or got 8 type situation. Now, this is going to add something else because the Chiefs might have a guy with a little bit of danger. And let's take a look at this play again. It's just going to be a little pass out in the flats. Quarterback makes his read, goes out to Pacheco here. And then he gets up and he dives again, always fighting for that extra yard. He's not going to be content. Let's get that end zone angle. Mind you, very, very high level defense at Michigan. First round draft pick, second round draft pick, first round draft picks all over the place for Michigan. Daxton Hill, number 30 over here. And they get that over. And now watch, because now he's got this guy and kind of he's got this guy in the grinder a little bit. He's just going to be like, we just got to, that guy's thinking we just got to keep pressing him to the sideline, just press him to the sideline. It's a linebacker on a running back. This is not a good matchup. Gets over. And then he gives him the little stiff arm, and this guy's able to knock it down. But you see the kind of the balance and the bend that he has through his hips, and he sticks forward and gets an extra couple of yards. Here's something else that I think Pacheco is going to be able to do that we haven't really seen a bunch of. He can run outside of the tackles, and I like this little read look here because I do think that is something that Andy Reid could incorporate into the Chiefs' offense. Let's go back and take a look at it. When you go back, it looks like, they got twin receivers over here. You got a tight end off the ball. You got a tight end on the ball. Quarterback is going to be doing a little read here. Quarterback is reading. This is his read if he's going to give, but watch these guys. They're going to be pinning in. And the Chiefs really don't have like the greatest group in the world of tackles at blocking outside zone, but they have athletic tight ends who can block in space and who can make plays like this. And really, something the Chiefs were missing last season was that ability to run outside of the tackles. It's not really Orlando Brown's thing. It was a rotating door. They didn't really have a right tackle that got comfortable with it. But, now that Orlando Brown has slimmed down some, now that they're in a situation where, they might end up, being able to start a guy at right tackle who has a little bit of outside zone capability. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do. And especially if, teams are expecting them to run it up the middle. The Chiefs were one of the most effective teams in all of the league last year. It's just running the ball right up the gut. If they can, come in here and make some sort of an impact on running the ball to the outside, that's going to be awesome. And there he gets his blocks to the outside, gets the seals, just the read. Quarterback sees that it's not going to be there. This guy, really the quarterback reads that this guy's coming in because this guy plays himself. Because once you get out here and you lose a step because you're thinking in and Pacheco gets his step going outside, you're going to have a hard time recovering. Good blocks. And let's watch how he finishes the play. Puts the juke on him. That's what I really like. Let's go ahead and get into the end zone view of that because that's what I like right there. You see him. There's different styles of runners. I'd say he's more definitely has the choppier style. He has that elite speed, 4.37 speed. Like his athletic, like explosion jumping numbers are just okay, but that 4.37 was the fastest any back at the combine. And really, what gets people excited is cuts like this in the open field because you'll see him. He's coming in at one speed, and then just that little twitch, that little burst. He does such a good job here of he sets in, kind of sells his head. Like, watch, he sells his head. He's looking right at these guys, and he plants this foot, and he's getting ready to put his weight on it and plant off and explode out off of the right foot here that's planted, and he gets out on it. And he's able to pick up a few more yards before he hits the top end. If this guy doesn't make the tackle here at the very end or at least come over, he has got a chance to be able to hit that top end. And now here, let's take a look. This one's going to be up the middle. This is one of his knocks coming out is that he's not the most fluid runner between the tackles. I think a lot of that's because Rutgers had a very poor offensive line, but you can see a couple of missed tackles that he's going to make you pay. I think it was just a little zone look. Let's go back and take a look here. No, it wasn't zone. What do we got? Yep, just looks like they run a little bit of power here. Was it power or was it? Yeah, so they're just running power here. I mean, nothing too crazy. It's a simple play. The guard's trying to pull around. He's got his tight ends leading up through. Should be 2 for 2. He should be able to hit it hard. He gets held up a little bit. This guy just dives, tries to create a pile, but watch. There's an arm on his leg right now. I don't know if you can see that. There's an arm on his leg, and he gets off, and then he puts the move on him, that little short burst hesitation into his acceleration, that little juke move. Let's go to the end zone. And really, when he sees a hole, he's going to hit it as hard as he can. He's not the kind of guy he's going to want to dance a bunch. When he sees it, that is one thing he's going to have to work on, is maybe setting up his blockers a little bit better, maybe showing some more patience. But you do like it that they have a back that when he sees it open, his natural instinct is just go through there and hit it as hard. And look, there's no 41 should have a tackle. The tight end doesn't do his job. Really, this guy over here, let's go back. I think that was the other tight end. Yeah, really, neither tight end does a great job. Aiden Hutchinson's pressing this guy in to, clog the hole. Tins just kind of doesn't come off the most aggressive. And really, this guy's not really getting a ton either here on 99. Yeah, the tackle doesn't get a ton on 95. The tackle wants this guy to go inside. 41's playing this perfectly because he's got here or here. I don't know what kind of miscommunication. It's a bad offensive line. This is not good offensive line play. This is not conducive to a successful, consistent environment. But still, you see him get off the tackle and he's a pile, and Aiden Hutchinson's got a hand on him, and then he just stands up, puts a juke on this guy, gives him a little tap. He doesn't really have like that true stiff arm, like the big devastating Derrick Henry stiff arm, but watch. Just gives him a little tap. Just a little tap on top of the head, just so he'll know he's there. Got the ball tucked away, and he turns it on now. Now he's just running. Look at Hutchinson. Hutchinson's a freak of nature being able to Hutchinson's a freak of nature being able to run something like that down. But it is impressive that he's able to sift his way through that. And he hits it hard. He has good contact balance. He's a strong guy. Guys who are fast typically have good squats, are typically going to be strong guys. You got to have power to be able to lead to explosion and speed. Silky smooth in the open field. And yeah, I'm sure in the intro to this video, you guys saw like all the big runs. You guys will see a couple more in the outro. That's why I'm saying these kinds of moves, like this looks like this is a kick return move right here. Just like one little head nod. Let's go back and slow it down. How's he work his head here? How's he working his head? Here he gets through, gets that hand off of him, starts to accelerate, gets his balance, starts moving those feet, man. His feet can get a little out of control at times. At times he can try to do it a little too much. He can lose his balance. He's got to work on, tight, compact footwork, tight cuts in and out. Really, he's falling away, and he just gets it right there. And then he shoots past number 4. He caught him flat-footed all the way to the sideline. Another tremendous rep. Let's take a look at this one. I think I know what's coming here. Always nice to get the checks. He's getting the check from the offensive line. They're switching him to the other side. Probably a pretty good chance they're going to be running the ball the opposite direction. They do. It's zone. The defense was not quite ready for it yet. Pardon me. Defense not quite ready for it. And they motion the tight end across. They're running zone to more of the strong side here. And he gets it. And I don't even know if that was zone, to be honest with you. I don't know. It's a cluster. 15's going to split it here. Splits them. It should be zone. They're running it to the tight end. It should be zone. It's just a really foobarred look. But then he hits it and he gets through. And man, he chops down those angles, man. Uh-oh. You really see how fast he can get through and how fast he can move through the hole. He just accelerates. Boom. Yeah, it's a really, the offensive line just does a poor job blocking it. They just get they get scheme help, It's not quite a true zone. Quarterback still got a read on 97 here. Just tight ends, but he makes the smart call because these guys aren't even paying attention to this gap. and Pacheco's going to hit it. Big hole, 20's not even looking at him. This guy's not looking at him. No one even really knows he has. I mean, he's the fastest player. He's probably one of the fastest players on the field, one of the best players on the field. That's my big thing whenever I look at guys sometimes. He doesn't look out of place versus these, high first round draft picks. He does not look out of place. He looks like he is playing at a higher speed level than, guys who aren't going to make it to the league. That's stuff I look for a lot when I evaluate tape. Does he look like he belongs with the big boys? I think here he absolutely does. And he just cuts down those angles, man. He comes through. Let's see how his cut looked again. Looking, plants, gets off, gets a little east-west, but then he just cuts that angle down, goes with a stiff arm, and then he just gets shoved out of bounds. Now let's take a look at this one. I got him highlighted. He's right here if you couldn't see him because it's not coach's film. But they run this play, and here's a play they've run a lot during camp, this wheel route. Take a look. Backpedaling, and the quarterback just has to get rid of it, but Pacheco's by himself. Be on the lookout for this. This is a route they've shown. It's a route that Andy Reid has dialed up to running backs in the past. It's something, that they've, thought, they ran a lot with Kareem Hunt. We've seen them run it with Clyde a time or two. They've run it with Damian Williams before. It's a route Andy Reid likes. This is just a different twist on it. The Chiefs would have him going more just from a set position into the route. Here, Rutgers brings him over. He's actually the play action man, which it's a great play call because you see it just freezes everyone's eyes just a second. And then after you see the ball get pulled, a lot of the times guys aren't thinking, I'm sure this guy's coming over. Guys don't always think, the guy that, that fake, the guy we're faking the handoff to is going to be the guy to make the play. Well, in this case, it is, the quarterback's under duress, but he finds Pacheco, catches the ball, and gives him a little business at the end of that one. He's a high level competitor, and you just see again how well he is able just to sit down. So why do I think he's in, the juke, of course? Boom. Just plants his feet on a dime, and then he just gets into that little giddy up at the very end, but you can see he's getting ready to take off. If he had more field to go to, he's going to score on it with that much space in front of him. And that's all the film I got for you guys. You guys can keep going back and watching those highlights. But really, where do I see him fitting with the Chiefs? The hype train's out of control right now. The hype is real. Let's see how he plays in games. The preseason games are going to be huge for him, huge for this running back room in general. There are going to be jobs to be won. He's going to make the 53-man roster just on his explosion and kick return ability alone. So that kind of cuts it down for everyone else. But I want to know, how comfortable is Andy Reid going to be getting him involved in the offense early on? How comfortable is he going to be maybe giving him 5 or 6 carries a game, a couple of targets out of the backfield? When are we going to see a point maybe where he's splitting reps with Clyde Edwards-Helaire? We're going to find out very quickly if it is all just hype or if it's warranted. I'm going to lean that I think the hype is warranted. I know what I've seen with my own eyes. I've broken down a lot of film on this guy. It feels like it could be a Brett Veach special, a total steal perhaps. This season is going to be a lot of fun for Isiah Pacheco. I've had a blast watching him. I think we're going to have even more fun watching him. He's putting on performances. He's got even all the fantasy football guys are going nuts about him just because of the kind of capabilities, a back can have in Kansas City's offense. I've been going crazy about him because he's a back with true speed who can run outside zone. I can't wait to see some pin and pull with him. I didn't include it in this video. They run a lot of toss with him at Rutgers early on in his career. They did a lot of things to try to get him into space before they kind of made him, their every down back. And still then he was still a part of a committee. I would like the Chiefs to get to the point at some point this season where, Clyde and Pacheco are the committee. That's what I want to see. It could be a true thunder and lightning type situation. You'll have your more bruising physical back in Clyde, and then you're going to have, this guy who can go 0 to 100 just like that. I think this is going to be the start of something awesome. I think this is going to be the start of a lot of fun here in the kingdom. Everybody, thanks for watching the video. I hope you appreciated it. I hope you appreciate the analysis. I appreciated it. I definitely appreciated all of you. I just hope everyone enjoyed everything. I'm looking forward to the season starting up. Get ready, because I think this week, a lot of people say, oh, it's just a preseason game versus the Bears. Well, there's going to be a lot to take away for the construction and development of this roster all the way around. Everybody, make sure you're liking and subscribing. Go follow Arrowhead Live on Twitter. Follow myself on Twitter at CJ Scoobs. And everybody, as always, I want you all to know, keep on keeping on.
We'll turn this around. We'll turn this around.